I want you to imagine a simple scene. You are well, but you feel that something is not quite right in your body. Blood pressure rises, fatigue comes earlier, that weight in your chest that you pretend not to notice. Today I will get straight to the point. There is a practical way to help your arteries work better, starting by understanding the cause of the problem and ending with a simple preparation that I personally use in my daily life. First of all, my content is educational. It does not replace medical consultation. If you use blood thinners, have arrhythmias, very low blood pressure, or any clinical condition, talk to your doctor before making any changes. When we talk about artery blockages, the conversation usually stops at cholesterol and blood pressure. But that's the end of the chain, not the beginning. The root lies in a very thin layer that lines the inside of each blood vessel, the endothelium. It is a row of cells that controls dilation, flow, inflammation, and clotting. When this tissue suffers repeated microlesions, a domino effect begins. First, it inflames. Then, the body rushes to patch it with plaques made of calcium, cholesterol, and proteins. It is not the villain creating chaos out of nowhere. It is your body trying to repair damage that shouldn't be happening. At this same point, the production of nitric oxide drops. This name may sound technical, but think of it as the master key that opens the artery, relaxes the vessel wall, and allows blood to flow. When nitric oxide plummets, blood pressure tends to rise, the risk of clots increases, and the vessel wall becomes rigid. 9 out of 10 heart attacks involve thrombi. Without enough nitric oxide, this risk ceases to be just a theory. The good news is that there are simple ways to support this system. Responsible sun exposure helps in 2 ways simultaneously: vitamin D and infrared light, which promote the production of nitric oxide. Breathing through the nose, not the mouth, also stimulates this axis. Magnesium is another important ally because arteries contract with calcium and relax with magnesium. If the balance tips only towards calcium, blood pressure thanks upward. Now, let's talk about what everyone asks. Is it possible to unclog an artery? Our body has a mechanism called reverse cholesterol transport. In plain Portuguese, there is a flow that removes cholesterol from the vessel wall and takes it back to the liver, where it is reused and eliminated via bile. To strengthen this pathway, 3 pillars help a lot: regular physical activity, well-done intermittent fasting, with guidance if you use medications, and a low sugar and low refined starch diet. HDL, the so-called good cholesterol, actively participates in this rescue. Niacin, vitamin B3, present in foods and supplements, also supports this process, but professional guidance is recommended here. Let me open the sugar's black box because it connects with the endothelium. A healthy body needs to keep about a teaspoon of glucose circulating in the blood. However, most people unknowingly consume dozens of teaspoons a day through bread, pasta, cookies, juices, and sodas. The body manages for a while thanks to insulin, which rushes to remove the excess from the blood. Years later, the pancreas begins to fail. Insulin levels drop, glucose rises, inflammation spikes, and the endothelium suffers. Hence the importance of reducing ultra-refined carbohydrates. In just a few weeks, a well-executed low-carb strategy already reduces liver fat, decreases systemic inflammation, and removes fuel for plaque formation. Another point that few people mention: bile. Those who have had their gallbladder removed may have more difficulty managing cholesterol. It is the bile that helps eliminate excess. If this is your case, coordinate with your doctor dietary adjustments and, if necessary, the use of bile salts. Returning to minerals, magnesium not only manages blood pressure, it helps to unlock misplaced calcium. And vitamin K2 is like a GPS for calcium. It takes it from where it shouldn't be, arteries, kidneys, joints, and directs it to bones and teeth. Now yes, let's get to the preparation I promised. Think of it as a beverage exercise for your endothelium. I'm talking about cocoa powder rich in flavonoids. It's not sweet chocolate, nor the roasted and alkalized cocoa that has lost much of its beneficial compounds. It's pure cocoa, preferably organic, with a high flavonol content. These polyphenol activate the enzyme that produces nitric oxide. In studies, daily consumption of flavonoid-rich cocoa improved vessel dilation comparable to moderate exercise, reduced arterial stiffness, and with continuous use, the effects accumulated over the days. In practice, more elastic arteries, better flow, less effort for the heart. Want a boost? Powdered beetroot is rich in nitrates that turn into nitric oxide in the body. I like the combination. Cacao to stimulate your own nitric oxide machinery and beetroot to provide raw material. I also like to warm the water slightly, without boiling, because excessive heat can degrade some of the cacao compounds. And I leave an important detail. Caffeine is a vasoconstrictor. If the idea is to maximize vascular benefits, I take cacao away from coffee about 2 hours before or after. If your goal is mental focus and you tolerate caffeine well, you can even mix them. But know that for the heart, it's better to keep them separate. How do I prepare it in my daily routine? In a mug, I put warm water, add a heaping tablespoon of pure cocoa, stir until dissolved, add a teaspoon of beetroot powder, and sometimes a pinch of sea salt. Some days I take magnesium glycinate at night, which helps to relax and does not interfere with the next day's workout. And I emphasize caution. If you have very low blood pressure, take blood pressure medication or anticoagulants. Adjust this with your doctor. The goal is to improve flow and endothelial function, not to disrupt what is already controlled. Maybe you're wondering, does just drinking solve it? No, it is part of the process, and I am being transparent because I want you to understand the complete logic by the end of this video. What truly works is the whole package. Less sugar and white flour. More strength training and outdoor walks to gain vitamin D and infrared light. Narrower eating windows that give the pancreas a rest. Quality proteins, good fats, vegetables rich in polyphenol. Consistent sleep, breathing through the nose. And medical supervision to safely adjust medications if your body starts to respond better. I know that talking about rigid arteries and plaque is scary, and it should be. The stiffness that reaches 40, 50, 60 is not a sentence. It's a sign. You can slow down, you can back off. I've seen this happen many times. Blood pressure that drops, tests that improve, breath that returns. And often, it all starts with a small decision that seems silly. Reducing bread at dinner, walking in the sun, replacing chocolate milk with pure cacao, prioritizing an anti-inflammatory plate instead of one that only provides comfort for a few minutes. If this content makes sense to you, leave a like now because it pushes the video to more people who need it. This is the EDU Health Tips channel, and I'm Edu Rodriguez. I create this content to give you practical tools, no fuss. Tell me in the comments which city you're watching from and what your biggest challenge has been. Is it sugar, blood pressure, or nighttime anxiety that makes you snack? I want to close with a simple proposal for the next 7 days. First, cut in half all liquid sugars, soda, juice, chocolate milk. Replace them with water and unsweetened tea. Second, every day, spend 10 to 15 minutes in the sun in the early morning, exposing your arms and legs. Third, prepare your endothelial cup with cocoa and, if possible, beetroot powder away from coffee. Fourth, include a brief strength workout at home. Squats, wall push-ups, standing up from a chair without using your hands. Fifth, have dinner earlier and go to bed at a similar time every day. In a week, come back here and tell me if you noticed a difference in your breathing, blood pressure, hand swelling, and heartbeat. If you already have tests showing increased arterial stiffness, fatty liver, or very low HDL, share this plan with your doctor. Well-made adjustments and monitoring can transform results. If you've made it this far, it's because you've decided to take care of yourself. Share this video with a family member who often says it's age when experiencing chest tightness or fatigue on a slight incline. Age weighs more when we ignore the signs. When we take care, it turns into an experience in our favor. I'm Edu Rodriguez, and this is EDU Health Tips. Subscribe so you don't miss upcoming content and activate the notification bell. In the video appearing here on the side, I show the complete meal that best helps your endothelium recover. Go now, because combining what you drink with what you put on your plate is the step that completes this cycle. See you there.